Order. Are we live and streaming? Okay, thank you. Okay, we will start with a roll call.
Good afternoon. Today is Wednesday, April 22nd. The time is 4:35, and we have in attendance Carla Gorgiolo. Here. Joanne Harris. Here. Josie Martinez. Here. Andrea Sanchez Muniz is absent. Mary Ann Valdez Hernandez.
Here.
Fernanda Cardenas is absent. Michelle Dobles Robledo.
Here.
Bert Quintanilla.
Here.
Beth Graham.
Here.
Judy Cruz is absent. Jaspreet Kaur.
Present.
You have a quorum.
Let us start with a silent meditation and focus our minds on the work that we have ahead of us today. And next, we'll move to approval of the minutes from the March 25th meeting. The meeting minutes are included at your place, and they were also set ahead of time.
I, Joanne Harris, approve the minutes, propose.
Okay, we have a first from Joanne and a second from Josie. All those in favor of approving the minutes from the March 25th, 2026 meeting, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Okay, thank you. Next, we have public comments, and I see that one person has signed up for public comment. Jack Finger. Mr. Finger, haven't seen you in a few meetings.
Chair, other members of the board, how many minutes, I'm sorry?
We have 3 minutes, and there is a timer there as well.
Thank you. Yes, Madam Chair, other members of the board, my name is Jack Finger, and I'm a patron who frequently comes by the library, uses a lot of the computers much of the time. I go from place to place in the library looking at some of the displays, and one of the displays you usually have up there is about record albums, showing the public what kind of a culture we have in regards to music. Well, one of the albums I noticed you have up there currently is this one by a popular female artist. She is, this cover of the album, she's displayed practically nude. There's nothing covering her private parts except one long banner. Yeah. And some strategically placed strands of her hair. You know, we have children running through the library at times, walking by these displays. I'd like to know who was it on your staff that allows the placement of something that obviously appeals to prurient interest displayed in the basic foyer. The foyer, I mean, right there, where kids do roam around. Quite frankly, Madam Chair, Mr. Director, I don't want to see this anymore in our library. This, you may think it's culture. No, there's no place for this. If you want to see this, go to some strictly, solidly adult library. Not this one, which you proudly display to all segments of our society, including children 17 and under. We don't need it. No, we don't. So yes, Mr. Executive Director, I don't want this up there again. And whoever placed it up there, quite frankly, needs to not just be reprimanded, seriously consider firing them. Why are you trying to influence kids like this? It's bad enough to have adults being influenced by this with pornography, because that's what this amounts to. No, stop doing this. And tell the person who allowed it will do more than just say stop it. Do something seriously about this stuff. Thank you.
Comments, Mr. Finger? And I believe that was the only person that we have signed up for public comment? Okay. Next, we'll move to the report from the library board chair. So I am, well, happy to report that it's been a very busy month. I attended the San Antonio Book Festival on April 11th, and I know many of you were able to attend that as well. It was a fantastic program. Very much enjoyed both the booths that were set up outside. I actually got to explore quite a bit of those this time, in addition to all of the fabulous speakers as well. I joined the library's table at the State of the City address, which happened on April 14th, and that's where Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones talked about the current state of San Antonio, and there was a library shout-out there as well, so that was a nice touch. I also attended the Cody Art installation informational meeting along with our director and also the branch librarian for Cody. And that was a fantastic meeting. I'm actually really excited about the art and can't wait for the rest of the board to see the plans as they start to come together. And then finally, I want to mention the city council session last week where there was a proclamation for National Library Week. I'm sure our director is going to talk about this as well. We have a copy of it here. If you weren't there in person or did not get to see it on social media, please do make it a point to see this and read through the proclamation. It is really fantastic, and it's just so excellent. I can't say enough about it. It was very heartening. Almost with the exception of 2 council members, everyone else had a library story to share. They had appreciation. Some of them mentioned their district libraries by name and their librarians by name. So it was really an amazing thing to witness, and definitely felt very proud of all the work that the staff does, being able to hear from them directly. And next and I also had the opportunity to attend both a Friends meeting and a meeting with the foundation, so that was fantastic as well. Now I'll turn to reports from trustees, and I'm going to start to my left with Mr. Quintanilla.
Thank you, ma'am. So since we last met, I have visited all my libraries, which are Parman, Encino, and Brook Hollow. I was also entertained to go to the Walker Ranch Branch Senior Center, where Brook Hollow has a library club. And so I've never, because of my active duty service over the years, never had a chance to come ashore and do that kind of thing. And so I was pleasantly surprised. There were about 35 people there, and they were very vocal about and into the discussion of a book they just got through reading. So I didn't necessarily join the club, but the next book they're going to read is about a British ship, and the word mutiny is on the cover, got my attention. And so I'm going to read the book and see how all of this turns out at the library book club. I'm also going to go visit the Parman Library book club called the Indecisive Book Club on Monday, 11 May, and see what they do. And the Encino Library, which is called a Silent Book Club. My wife knew what that was. I have no idea. I'm going to find out. So, visiting my libraries. I did buy the shirt. The shirt was meant to be in the River Parade on Monday. We got rained out. What's a little flash flooding going on? I mean, you know. And so, wear the shirt. The book fair was awesome. Never had been to it before. Had a grand old time. Got a book for my sister. I'm continuing my research and study of the historical graphic novels to see how they bounce off of the thicker books that are in the collection. In other words, the Battle of Leyte Gulf in a graphic novel form, does it cover pertinent points in the Battle of Leyte Gulf. So I read the book and read the graphic novel, compare the two, to see if that's something that is investment worthy, because the younger folks seem to like it a lot, graphic novels. And are they absorbing the information that they would normally forget if they read a thick book? But they also would reference back to it. So having a grand old time. Yes, ma'am.
I attended my committee meetings. I was also at the book festival, and I have to say, I know I said this last year, I think this was the best ever. It just continues to improve. I, once again, spent more money than I intended to. It seems like every year I come, I find something that I just can't live without. I was fortunate to also attend the Mayor's State of the City address and found it very informative, and I think it was really great to see the direction that she sees the city taking. And then I would like to just take this opportunity, if I can, to congratulate Marketing and Community Relations on their social media campaign this week for Library Week. They've been doing a fantastic job, and I really appreciate the focus on staff who do so much to make this library what it is.
Pan American. I had a chance to speak to our manager, Nicole. They are going to move her around as the interim manager to another facility. And I shared with her that how proud I am of all of the managers at my 3 branches, because my managers are moved around quite often in order to serve as interim management, and that just shows how strong our team is in the South Side. On April 9th, I attended the facilities committee and got caught up on all the construction and all. It's so exciting with all the details of the new things that are going on, artwork included, art pieces. April 11th, I attended the book festival and had such a good time. I save all year long because I buy millions of t-shirts when I'm there, and as well as books, so I came home with a wonderful stash. April 18th, we had our first official Friends of the Pan American Branch Library, and we're just so excited about that. Kudos to Joanne Tobias Molina, who's serving as the president of that group. She is just so enthusiastic, and I know there's going to be great things happening at Pan American. Mm-hmm. It is.
I was able to attend the book festival, and like Beth said, every year it just better and better and better. I really enjoyed it, and thank God it wasn't really hot. And it was very, very informative. I was able to stop into the different booths and listen to some of the authors talk about their books. I also was able to attend the Mayor's State of the City session, and it was very informative. I was very pleased when she was sitting there. Oh, she was on a panel discussion, just the 2 of them. She's been interviewed, and she let the library just flow off her tongue so easily. And so I was real proud and happy about that. Thank you.
So the book festival, of course, I'll just echo that sentiment. It was a great event. The weather was amazing. I feel like it does get bigger and bigger every year. I met somebody last year from Maryland who traveled here for it, and I saw her again. So I was like, okay, we'll just see each other every year at the book festival. And I also was able to go to the Mayor's State of the City to hear her vision, which included a lot of education and family-oriented programs, especially childcare. So I look forward to her vision. And then also shout out to social media posts on National Library Week, because I love the National Library Worker Day yesterday. That was nice, and just everything that has been online. And also it's National Poetry Month, and I saw that there was a typewriter event where they're going to bring typewriters. You get to type your own poem, which that's this weekend, I think, at Mission, so that should be exciting.
Like everyone else, I went to the festival as well. I regret only that I don't live in Harry Potter world, and I don't have a time turner, so I can't go to all of the venues at the same time, because everything piqued my interest. Every author that I saw, every workshop, everything that I was able to go to was just wonderful. And I always regret, gee, I should have done that one. And that's my only regret, is not being able to split in two. I also went to our Friends of the Library meeting over at Maury Maverick, and they are going to have their book sale. Let me say this now, at the end of May. So if you're out by Maury Maverick, head on out there on the last Sunday of May, and they'll be out there. Let's see, went to the proclamation as well, that the mayor so graciously bestowed on us to recognize National Library Week, and felt honored that we were among, it was 3 different groups that were honored that day. One was science, one was literature, us, and one was Second Chances. And all of that was inspirational to me. That's it.
Hello, everyone. I did a lot of field work, it seems like. I went to Las Palmas just to check everything out, see how everything's doing there, and it's the most exciting place. Then I went back to Las Palmas, and I went to their friends meeting, and Liz showed up. Where is Liz? She's not here today. She was there, they had a friends meeting, and she was there, and it was very nice to have her there at Las Palmas. Then I went to Bazan Library, they had a little book sale, so I helped them out with that. And that seemed like a lot, so that's it. Thank you.
I attended my committee meetings. I watched you all receive the proclamation. I watched the city council meeting that morning. April is a very busy month for me with work, so I haven't, other than work, done anything outside of that. But I'm happy to say that at the book festival this year, the missions were highlighted, so our national parks were represented and moderated by one of our own park rangers, Chantal, so I was very excited to see that that was highlighted at the missions, or at the book festival this year.
Thank you all for your reports, and I neglected to also mention one aspect of the book festival, which I really enjoyed this time, which was the scavenger hunt. I had an opportunity to engage with quite a few patrons that were participating in the scavenger hunt for the library medals. There was 2 tents that were set up for that, and that was really fantastic. Just the book festival, of course, is about the library, but there isn't always so many direct library-related things that people can get. Of course, it's at Central and on the grounds, but I thought that was really great. And I just want to commend you and the team for setting that up. It was a really brilliant idea and a great way to engage and get the festival and get the Fiesta medal out there, of course, but also the ability to get to actually sign up for cards on the day of the event. That was really awesome as well, and I'd love to hear in upcoming meetings how that campaign went as well, and how many new card signups we had. So with that, I will pass over to the library director for your report.
Good afternoon, everyone. We had an outstanding San Antonio Book Festival. We leveraged having thousands of people in and around Central Library, and we activated this year 5 new touch points to reach attendees, and that's what, like Jaspreet mentioned, 2 of them were scavenger hunt outside. We introduced our greeters table. We had library card sign-up tables inside the building. In total, we actually experienced a 46% increase in checkouts for the day over last year's event this year. We issued 19% more library cards the day of the event over last year's event. On the second floor, we had 747 engagements with members of our community about library services and resources, and in an effort to expand their relationship with the library. As Jaspreet mentioned, our scavenger hunt was a huge success, and huge shout out to Jessica, Zarita, and her team for coming up with this idea. We had children, adults, they all alike, they wanted to do this scavenger hunt. We received 466 successfully completed scavenger hunt cards. And what basically, and people earned our, not just our current Fiesta medals, they earned our retired previous year's Fiesta medals. So they had options to pick from, like 2020 and onwards. The activities of the hunt included getting or showing their San Antonio Public Library card, checking out a book, physical or digital, taking a selfie with our beautiful Central Library, and experiencing the art walk and letting us know which one was their favorite piece of art. The City of San Antonio had commenced planning for 2027 bond program, and the new Capital Delivery Department will shepherd the city through the process. We are developing project information to share with the Library Board's ad hoc committee. The committee is meeting in the coming weeks, and we are planning for a briefing to the Library Board during the May Library Board meeting. I am also excited, just like many of you mentioned, about the library's participation in the Battle of Flowers Parade on Friday. So I hope I'll see all of you there, and I'm hoping the weather stays nice, unlike yesterday. Again, thank you to our teams for making this happen and spending their holiday representing our San Antonio Public Library. Now, April 19 through 25 is National Library Week, and in recognition of this important week, Mayor Gina Ortiz-Jones issued a proclamation, just like many of you mentioned about that. I was honored to join our board chair, Jaspreet, in accepting the proclamation and delivering remarks. Our team is celebrating both internal and external facing activities during National Library Week. And I would also like to welcome our ACM, David McCary, for joining us and for his ongoing support. And I'm going to pass this along if you want to look at the proclamation, which was read. And I do have, you also have this full director's report in your packet, and which was sent to you earlier. And if you have any questions, anything from there, I'm happy to answer, or my team is happy to answer.
This is where you can make a comment. Yes, sir, I would like to propose for you to review and think with the staff how the San Antonio Public Library might be able to get involved with the Artemis space exploration program and see if there's anything that's coming down from the federal government, from NASA, that can be placed in the libraries. This was an extraordinary mission that happened in April, and there's more to come. And I think that if we can inspire the library system to translate that to visitors, we just might be able to capture the attention of younger readers to think about space, because this is going to be their future. I mean, not only is there robotics and all the other stuff that's going on, AI, but this is something that, I'm not going to call it science fiction, but it certainly is the cutting edge technology of where humankind is going in the future. And so explore the idea or put out the feelers as only you could, in your position, to find out if anything's coming down the chute from NASA, from the feds, that we could leverage in our own libraries for the inspiration of young readers.
Into the visits being lower for last month. I see that on page,
I think Adam, maybe can come up and answer that.
page 7. If there is any insight, if you need more time, that's fine also. Okay. Okay, thank you. Yeah. And a follow-up, I'll just mention, you don't have to come back up, Adam, but for Adam and Dale, I don't know if staff day gets normalized into those numbers automatically, or if those are accounted for. So maybe just, you could mention that when you come back with us to the numbers on that. Okay. Thank you. We'll move to the next item, which is the budget report for March 2026.
Good afternoon, board members and board chair. I'm here just to give you a brief update on the library's budget report as of the end of March 2026. 50% of the fiscal year had elapsed, and we were at 49% spent, including the encumbrances, or 48% without them. So we're slightly behind in spending. It's going to be mainly due to our capital outlay and commodities categories. For capital outlay category, the PC replacement program, it just takes a lot of validating devices, but I did approve the PO a couple days ago, so we'll see that populating in April. So that should bump up a little bit. And the commodities are mainly underspent in the library resources account. So recently, and this is going to be due to one of our major physical book vendors went out of business, and so it took us a little bit of time to be able to get, procurement mechanisms in place in order to proceed. So we should see an uptick in that in the last couple of months of the fiscal year. So there's no red flags or anything about it. It's just we haven't been able to spend as much as we wanted to because of that hiccup in the vendors. I also wanted to point out that some of our accounts are going to be over budget, some of them are under budget, and that's okay, because our budget control is at the department level, not at the account level. And every year, as part of monitoring our budget, we go through what's called a mid-year adjustment. So we take our first 5-6 months of actuals, we estimate what we're going to spend in the last 6 months, we put that together, and then council actually approves what they call a mid-year ordinance adjustment. And then we should see that our spending is sort of more in line with what the budget is after that process happens. So that was it. That completes my report, but if you have any questions, I can take them now.
I have a question. I was wondering why the expenditure on overtime salaries is so high this time, or at this point?
So overtime, we do sort of like a staffing, what do we call it? So we have a lot of vacancies at this point in time, and in order to help out the system and still providing services, we're allowing people to actually receive paid out overtime as part of our a staffing implementation plan that we have. So we utilize overtime, or for the summertime, we have in our plan that if we need it, we can hire some temps to help supplement due to vacancies. So that's it. Also, in that one particular one, my group did change from salary to hourly, And so in order to keep up with their work now, I have paid them out a little bit of overtime. So there is some in there for my group as well. I just want to disclose and be honest. But yes, this is to help supplement for vacancies.
Adjustments for that come from, shoot, I forgot the term for it, but I know that sometimes there's a cushion that comes out of salaries that are not being paid because the positions are not filled. Is that how that's adjusted?
It is. So we'll use what we call vacancy savings, right, to use for overtime and for temp because, and also, you know, we're always going to show way over budget and overtime because we only have a $2,000 budget. So anytime we're at, you know, $3,000, it's like 200%, you know, overspent. And so it causes like what seems to be a red flag, but the dollars is minimal. And we do cover it with vacancy savings. You're welcome.
I do have a question. When you talked about the vendors, I'm new to this and I'm trying to learn. Do the vendors come and push their wares on the library system saying, this is what we've got for you for 2026? Or is there a committee within our library who says, let's go to this vendor over here and ask them for the following books? And who determined, it kind of goes to maybe the LP, the album, who determines where are we pulling or are they pushing, I guess is what I want to know.
I think that's a question for collection development, and do you want to answer that, Adam?
We do at the city, I mean, there's a whole procurement process where vendors have to bid and, you know, we put out solicitations and stuff, but.
They come to us with their list, their truck of books.
We put out either like an RFCSP or a request for people to.
Yes, in this case, we have an RCSP with a company called Baker and Taylor. What that means is we put it out, we tell them our list of needs from a potential vendor. That's where it's there, it's what my wife has me things. So we put that out for different vendors to give us their offers on what they have in stock, how quickly they can turn it around, provide it to us. Can they do special things like what we call an opening day collection, like we did with Las Palmas, where they drop ship a ton of books all at once so that we can immediately restock the library. And if they don't meet those criteria, we look for the company that can. It's not really their book list. Pretty much all of these book vendors will sell you mostly the same catalog. It's just, do they have it in stock? Can they supply it? And with the collapse of Baker and Taylor, there's hardly any companies who do it at that scale or at this scale anymore. So we're pretty limited. We are going out for another award contract, another RFCSP to replace that one. It should hit the streets anytime in the next couple weeks, months, so that we'll have something in place for next fiscal year. But we're, again, made whole this year by our statewide contract with Ingram. So we're able to buy everything that we're able to, up to the usual amount of spending that we do. We just had to get that in place at the usual spending levels, which we've done.
You go to the vendor and say, hey, vendor, you offer Texana, and what are the 10 books you offer in Texana? How does it get tickled to come back with the answer of what's going to be bought?
So these vendors have to be listed with the state, first of all, and then our procurement department with the city's fiscal department will identify the vendors who tell the state that they sell these books in these quantities, and they'll contact them to say, we have this competitive solicitation on the market. If you'd like to make a proposal, here's the date and timeline of when we can hear it and take it into consideration. So we kind of poke them and say, we're about to get a new contract and spend a lot of money, and then whoever's able and willing to make that bid will come approach us.
But give me 3 examples of categories then that you put to the vendors. Is STEM one of them? Is that
I'm sorry to
category?
interrupt, but I think this is getting too operational, and this is a budget update.
All righty.
So I'm going to stop the discussion here so that we can move on to the next update. Thank you. Thank you for your update, Gabby. Next is a report from the Executive Committee. The committee met on April 14th to set the agenda for today's meeting. Next, we have a report from the Advocacy Committee.
So we did meet on April 8th, and that was to discuss the budget. That's the budget survey that is happening right now until May 1st. There's a QR code on your slide. as well as, I think, Jessica, you sent an email to all the trustees to spread the word and continue the link. There's also you could pick up cards, survey cards at different locations, city locations, including libraries. So that's what we did.
Next, a report from the Budget Committee.
We did not meet.
Next, a report from the Facilities Committee, and Andrea's not here, but I believe Mark has an update for us.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen of the trustees of the board. First, I'd like to start off by welcoming Byron Smith, our city architect with the Capital Delivery Department. He's here to help answer any questions you all might have about some of the projects we're working on. We did have a meeting on April 9th of the Facilities Committee. As was mentioned earlier, the Facilities Committee was updated by the Department of Arts and Culture on the current 2022 bond projects they have in progress. We will be at, those projects are at Carver, Las Palmas, and Cody branch libraries. We will be, there's an update included in your construction report about what was discussed and schedules that are upcoming, and then we'll be bringing final designs back to you for approval in the months ahead. We also had a discussion with the Facilities Committee about having staff proceed with due diligence regarding a small piece of property that has, a small piece of city-owned property that has become available adjacent to the Westfall Branch Library. So we're going to work with city real estate and the environmental group with the city on doing the due diligence for that piece of property. We will report back to the Facilities Committee, and then, if appropriate, we will come to the board with any action. So we did have a few projects that we went over, a couple of updates that we have real quick. The Carver Branch Library, that is a 2022 bond project that's in the midst of construction. They're about 33% complete. Phase 1 is renovating the existing building and adding 2,600 square feet to the building. We are on schedule. They had delivery of steel back middle of March, and then they started adding the steel to the addition on March 30th. Substantial completion is moving towards looking like maybe in January right now, but that schedule can change, obviously. They just gave us a new schedule update. And then we will start our post-construction move-in after substantial completion. We do have a couple progress photos here. You can see we've got some steel going up on the outside. I don't know if anyone's had a chance to drive by the building lately, but you can start seeing a little bit more progress. And then the inside is moving forward as well. They're starting to move on the progress there as well. The Texana bond project, that also is moving forward to renovate the 16,000 square feet of the 6th floor. We are working towards completing the construction of that project. We're at about 97% complete on that project. We are, let me refer to the schedule here. So on January 20th, we started moving shelving back into the space. So that's when we started library rebuilding of the space. We do have some more shelving coming in at the beginning of May to complete the shelving installation. We have identified some additional resources because there is a legacy HVAC unit that services the vault, which due to the funding at the time, we were not able to replace when we did the entire vault. As you recall, as part of the project, we expanded the size of the vault, so we added a new unit to supplement the existing unit, but we have since learned that the existing unit is on a time basis of having to be replaced, and since it's up in the ceiling, we want to get that replaced before we move everything back into the vault. So we're working with CDD on that, and along with Building Equipment Services Department on that, to get some vendors in here to take a look at that and see what we need to do to expedite that repair. So we are still looking to open summer, fall reopening, but we will keep you updated on that as we move forward on that. Yes?
Question on that. It says here that your estimated construction complete is 97%. What is the remaining 3% consist
The
of?
remaining 3% would be the library staff moving everything back in, and then any additional stuff that we've got to do. The construction portion is just about complete because the contractor does still have some shelving end caps to install once we do all the final shelving installs, but that's, yeah. Mm-hmm. Next project we want to talk about is the Landa branch, so that's a HVAC improvement project. We are making progress on that. We've been having daily conversations with our partners at CDD, along with our construction people and our vendors that are working on that project. Quick update there, schedule-wise, we have Let's see, we restarted the system on April 13th. We started the restart. We have managed to start 15 of the 18 units that are in the building. So, and those have been running for a week now, and they've been running efficiently, they've been running good, there's no dripping or no issues with that. The 3 units that aren't running yet, we have the vendors coming in to take a look at that. We actually have them scheduled to come in tomorrow morning at 9 o'clock, and they're going to do some reprogramming and hopefully get those 3 units fired up, which will still allow us to reopen May 1st. That's what our hope is, to still open May 1st, but we will keep you updated as we learn more about that progress. The Cortez Branch Library, that's the other project we've got going on that is currently closed. We are getting new carpet, new wall paint, restroom improvements, and other general building repairs. This project, construction is a little more than 25%. When we did the Facilities Committee, it was 25%. Now they have completed most of the carpet installation. Here's a couple of photos of that, and it looks really, the place is really vibrant, and we are also working with our architect on improving the signage on the monument sign, the lighting on the monument sign. We're working with that. Cortez is located in a military lighting overlay district, so we have to be very, very specific on the types of lighting that are used on the exterior of the building, so our architect is working very closely on that to come up with the best solution for that. And then the schedule for that, we are still looking to reopen prior to the May 18th election, so we'll be opening probably the week before May 18th, so, and we'll be announcing that very soon. Any questions? There's also the construction update is in your packet if you have any other questions on any other projects. Thank you.
Next, a report from the Naming Committee.
Committee did not meet.
Next, a report from the Ad Hoc Board Policy Committee, and Fernanda Cardenas is not here, but I understand Dale will be providing an update for us.
Good afternoon. The Policy Committee did meet on April 2nd. The one agenda item was the naming policy. Work continues on that and will continue next month, but hopefully we'll be bringing that policy to you next month.
Next, we have a report from the Ad Hoc Bond Committee, and Judy, I don't believe you all met.
Did not meet. We should be meeting in May.
And next, we have a report from the San Antonio Public Library Foundation.
As you know, at the last meeting, I'm much shorter. As you know, at the last meeting, I announced that we had postponed our Over the Edge event, which means that for the last 30 days, that's what we've been working on. So we have been working to close that gap, that $150,000 gap in our operating budget, while we are simultaneously working on raising money for Carver. And the focus for that has been increasing the effectiveness and the size of our literacy luncheon that we have coming up October 4th. That's part one of that. So we actually are super excited that we have already, with being just a little under 6 months from that event, about $76,000 in sponsorship monies in for that. So we're feeling very positively about being able to close that gap. We are also pursuing several grants for operating funding because, you know, of course, we can't continue to fundraise for Carver and the other things for the library if we can't keep the lights on. So we are working really diligently for that. We are most of the way through several large grant applications, one with the Kronkowski Foundation, one with the Nancy Smith Hurd Foundation. We are through to the second round of both of those grants. Those are both six-figure grants. So if we get either of those, we will have closed that gap. So that's a very good thing. Our board has been very engaged obviously, to cancel your largest fundraising event or move your largest fundraising event into the next fiscal year is quite a big deal for us. So everyone has really jumped into action for that, and we're still selling sponsorships for Over the Edge 2027. Update on Carver. I've talked about this multiple times. We have, and I'll just run down the list really quickly, about $385,000 fully committed right now. That's Bob Flynn for the tween space. The San Antonio Area Foundation right now is coming in at the largest gift for the African American Resource Center at $100,000. $100,000 from Valero for the Learn Center, $50,000 from HEB from the African American Resource Center, the $30,000 I mentioned last month from Isabel Howard for landscaping, and then about $5,000 in small miscellaneous grants. All of those miscellaneous grants that are coming in will go toward the African American Resource Center. So that's the bulk of the sort of the general and miscellaneous fundraising. We are holding a couple of potential naming opportunities for that Nancy Smith Hurd Foundation that I was talking about before, and then also HEB, because of course HEB has been super good to us in the last 4 years, and we look forward to that too. Their funding cycle is a little different, so we told them that we would hold the spot that they wanted until October, because that's when their funding cycle kicks off. So right now in process, that have already been written, about $250,000 in additional grants. Those are all general and would be we would count those as African American Resource Center grants. But as I've said for the last few months, a lot of excitement around Carver. Everybody's received it very, very, very openly, and everyone's excited about it. And I think that because we fundraised for Texana for so very long, for so many years, that coming to them with something a little bit newer is a big deal. So all the usual suspects are involved. We are reaching out, and we will continue to reach out to more African American focused and owned businesses, because we do want to have not just all the big guys in there too, but we want to really make an effort for that. And then also, if you see, almost everybody on my team has just celebrated 6 years with the foundation. So we in about a 30-day period, we have Tammy, our business manager, Denise, our marketing director, Jessica, our development director, and myself. We all celebrate our 6-year anniversary with the foundation. So we're super excited about that too. Does anybody have any questions?
Book being published by the Trinity Press?
This is Blake.
Thank you so much for the work that you're doing. The number for Carver keeps on growing, and that's really heartening. And if we haven't already done so, let's coordinate to get you some pictures of the Carver progress, because I think that will help you to keep your
we keep in
stakeholders
pretty
updated.
close touch with Jessica about all of those things, and we just had the site visit when we did it at our office, not at Carver because hard hat, but with the Nancy Smith Hurd trustees. That was all the trustees of that foundation that are primarily from Broadway Bank. And we had loads of photos, and it's super helpful to have that. But really, they're so interested in the history and the stories, and that's going to be. So far, we haven't had anybody say, "Oh, why would we want to invest in that?" So we've had very good response from everybody that we've pitched that to.
No, Amy, I just want to say thank you so much for your committee and your board for doing the extra steps that needed to be done. So thank you so much.
Next, a report from the Friends of the San Antonio Public Library, and Jessica Zarita will be reading an update from Liz Alves Presley.
Good afternoon, Jessica Zarita on behalf of the library, the Friends of the San Antonio Public Library. Liz Alves Presley was unable to join today, so she sent me some bullets to share with you. The Friends branch meetings have been going well. The San Antonio Book Festival was wonderful. We signed up 25 new members, including 1 teen. All of the Friends of the San Antonio Public Library Fiesta medals have been sold. The Friends of the Pan American Branch Library had a wonderful meeting last Saturday, and the turnout was great. Lots will be going on for the new Friends group. The Friends Marketing Committee and the Membership Committee are in full swing. You'll be seeing activity from them as well. Please try to attend the next Friends of the San Antonio Public Library Board meeting on Sunday, May 17th at 2 o'clock at the Forest Hills Branch Library. And she thanks you all for your time.
Next, we have a staff report on the San Antonio Public Library's early literacy program, Little Red Wagon, designed to support the development of young children's love of books, reading, and learning. Kristen. Oh, Crescencia, you're going to introduce Kristen, I guess.
Kristen joined the San Antonio Public Library team almost 12 years ago. She has served as a teen librarian as well as a children's librarian at the Cody and Petranco branch libraries and is in her 3rd year as the manager of the Little Red Wagon.
Good evening. Thank you for the opportunity to come and share about the early literacy outreach team. We began as a grant-funded program back in 2002, and we were later fully incorporated into the City of San Antonio's budget. We are a team that is small and mighty. We have 6 members. You see only 5 in the picture here. That is because we are all over Bexar County, and so getting a picture of all of us together is very difficult. But we have 3 full-time and 3 part-time employees. The unique thing about our team is that a lot of our employees have a background in education and early childhood, child development, so we're able to speak to those, that research. Also, 3/4 of our team are bilingual in English and Spanish, so we're able to offer almost all of our programs in English and Spanish. Our mission is to promote early literacy skills and connect families with young children to the San Antonio Public Library. And when we talk about early literacy, we're talking about what children know about reading and writing before they can actually begin reading and writing. We're talking about those core foundational life skills that will serve them for the rest of their lives. Did you know that between the ages of 0 and 3, children form 1 million new neural connections in 1 second, every second of their lives? So it's very important that they receive sensory-rich and language-rich experiences from the very beginning so that they can be successful readers, successful learners, and successful for the rest of their lives. Here's a little snapshot of how we attack this mission. You can see the little puzzle pieces that make up our work, but I'll go through each one in more detail. So we go out to Head Start, Early Head Start, and pre-K programs throughout Bexar County, and we tell families what they can do to help their children get ready to read, to be ready for kindergarten when they enter. We work primarily with children 5 and under, and they're adults. In fiscal year 25, we were able to speak in front of over 1,000 parents, and we talk about the importance of a bedtime routine and incorporating reading in a bedtime routine. So we have them make these little bedtime routine charts. We have samples over on the side if you want to take a look, and it encourages them to read every night. We have them in both English and in Spanish. And I think one of the beauties of this program, we surveyed recent workshops, And between 50 and 70% of the people we're talking to don't already have library cards. So we're able to talk to them about the library and encourage them to get a library card, because reading a variety of books with children every day helps them get ready to read. We also provide early literacy workshops for school-age parents. And when we talk about school-age parents, that's the term the schools use, but we're talking to teen parents at local high schools. And we share the same research and information about early literacy, but we do it in a very conversational and relatable way. We have the teens make projects that help reinforce those early literacy practices. And we also have a sample of those on the side. They're things that the teens can use to increase their bond and to help their child grow in their early literacy skills. And we know from research that having at least one trusted adult in your life helps buffer against toxic stress. We also are really glad to be all over Bexar County at parks, outside of community centers, and outside of libraries, offering sensory-rich play experiences for children and families. And one of the awesome things we get to do is we get to find families that are already playing out at the park or the community center, and we get to draw them to the library. We share information about the library. We do a pequeño pop-up play program in neighborhood parks every Tuesday morning. And we tell families about the closest library to the park. We share information about the programs and services that library provides, so we can help draw families to see that the library is a place that welcomes families. We gave out a survey on our Facebook group, and this is one of the responses that we received and that we were so happy to hear. We also provide events for our community. One of our favorite events, one of our biggest events, is Babies Super Saturday, where the babies and toddlers take over the central library. We provide sensory-rich play experiences throughout the library, and it's for children 0 to 3 to represent that milestone of rapid brain growth. We also take part in the International Day of Play, which was recognized by the UN back in 2024, and it's a celebration of the fact that everybody needs to play, but especially children. Here are some of our performance metrics for 2025 and for 2026 so far. One of the things we're the most proud of is being able to give out over 3,400 books, and these are brand new books that they get to choose to children in our community. We give them out at workshops, we give them out at our Let's Play programs. Here is a map showing all the locations we've visited so far in 2026. And you can see we try our best to span across Bexar County, but also to concentrate in areas of low opportunity within the city. And finally, here is some more quotes we received from our survey. And really, I want to share that our team is passionate about the library. We are constantly talking as a team about why we want to connect families to the library, because we truly believe that the library is a place that can change lives. And so we want to connect families to that transformative power. So thank you so much, and I'm happy to take any questions at this point.
One of the programs I know you used to offer, and I'm just curious if it's still in your repertoire, was working with incarcerated parents to help them learn how to read to their children when they get out. Is that still on your list of things you do?
It's not currently on our list of services, and I don't have a lot of information about that because that was before my time with the team.
I just wanted to acknowledge all of the work that your team's doing. It's really impressive, especially if you go back to the map, the locations that you're covering. It makes sense now why you couldn't all get in the picture together. That's amazing, and that's fantastic to see, especially if we look at those pockets that are like kind of far, like south of Johnston. There's no library south of Johnston. So it's, that's really, really impressive. And I would love to see more about how we could collaborate in terms of you have exposure to families and young people that really many of them may have never stepped inside of a San Antonio Public Library branch. So are there more ways to kind of track their journey, and if they end up making it into a branch? You don't have to answer that today, but I think that's something that would be really interesting for us to continue to find some of that invisible string between those events.
Actually, one initiative we just started is we're going to early Head Start locations all around the Las Palmas Branch Library, and we're giving out inactive library cards and inviting them all to a library card party on May 16th at Las Palmas Library. We have those barcode numbers so we can look back and see how many of what we gave out are we able to see were activated. So that's something we're always interested in seeing. We don't want to just be, shouting into the void. We want to see how effective our work is. So thank you.
Questions?
I just want to say thank you for your passion and for your work, and I think I just found a new project. Thank you.
Thank you very much for this update. Next, we have a presentation on the final report of the study entitled Improving Safety at the San Antonio Public Central Library through Needs Assessment. And this is an informational item that was going to be presented by Kathy, but Kathy is out sick, I understand. So, Sukrit, I'll let you take it away.
Everyone, before we move into this next item, like Jaspreet said, Kathy, who has been leading this work for the library, is unfortunately not able to join us today due to illness. I know she is disappointed. We spoke earlier, and she really wanted to present this report herself. Stepping in her behalf is Jessica Zarita, our leadership team, from our leadership team. Jessica has been closely involved in this work and is well prepared to walk us through the findings and also through the next steps from the study, which is conducted by our partners at UTSA, and they are here. Thank you for all your help and all your support in doing this great work. And Jessica, thank you for stepping in, and at this time, I will turn it over to her.
Okay, good afternoon. Jessica Zarita, Assistant to the Director. Just to orientate trustees, the presentation is loaded onto your tablets, and the actual report is also on your tablets starting on page 82 of that large packet. So if you have any questions, that information's there. Okay. So good afternoon again. I will be presenting on the study entitled Improving Safety at the San Antonio Central Library Through Needs Assessment, and joined here today with several members of the library team who are part of that project team, as well as our study authors, Jelena Todik and Ian Johnson, who are here. So, welcome. Okay, so to begin, a little bit of background. So to find out how we arrived to where we are today with this study. So in response to a series of incidents here at Central Library back in 2023, the library commissioned a study through the city's master agreement with UT San Antonio for two purposes, and the purposes are on the slide, to assess the effectiveness of a SAPD pilot for incident response and to explore a comprehensive approach to safety for the Central Library. And so the SAPD pilot was an immediate response to address incidents here at the Central Library, and it involved having limited hours of SAPD officers here at Central Library. When the study was first envisioned, the pilot was first envisioned, we projected 9 hours per week that the officers would be here. In actuality, that number was closer to 5.5 hours, so it was a lot less than what we originally anticipated, and we learned that going through the study and this research. There was some significant input from a community organization and the public regarding the pilot program, which led us to this study. And so this presentation shares just top-line information about the study and the findings. As I mentioned before, the full study is available online through the library board's agenda system packet, so it is available there. You have it in your tablets as well. So essential to any successful project or study is a team. And so our project team was carefully considered. We were led by our project leads, the project authors, our researchers from UTSA, who shepherded us through this initiative. Our study team members are listed here as well. It's a mix of library staff from throughout different levels of the organization. We also included, as we're working with UTSA professors, they had students in their social work program, so those students were also included as part of the project team. We also included Maria Vargas Yates, who is the director of the Integrated Community Safety Office for the City of San Antonio, and the addition of Maria Vargas Yates was a great add to the team because she was able to bring in perspective of community policing and experiences related to SAPD, so that was a good add for us. And so our project team evolved over the years, over the time that we spent with the project, but this comprised the entire list of that group. So as the team began its work, we were grounded through guiding principles. And these principles were in the forefront of every discussion that we had, every meeting that we participated in, and we really stuck to these guiding principles. Our lead researchers were instrumental in starting the meetings off and making sure that we were in a good, sound place for discussions and creating a really safe place for hard discussions to take place. And that was critical for this type of study and research that needed to take place. So these guiding principles you'll see on the screen include transparency, partnership building. So it's a good array of different principles that really helped us shepherd this project through to the end. And so the research design that our researchers put together for this study is a mixed method approach, which means it's qualitative and quantitative. So it's both types of data. It included 2 phases, and we'll explore the 2 phases in a little bit more detail in the next couple slides. And it is also grounded in participatory action and social justice. And what this means is that community is involved, community is engaged in and considered in the outcomes and the recommendations that were put forth as part of this study and the analysis. So these are the research design that the team utilized. So looking at both phases side by side, phase 1 essentially looked at the SAPD pilot effectiveness. So it did that sort of assessment, looked at a lot of data. This was the qualitative, quantitative portion of that research. There was a lot of findings to look through as part of that. And so the outcome of that was a phase 1 report, which is a pilot evaluation, and also looking at an engagement plan for launching phase 2. So once phase 1 completed, data gathered, information gathered, phase 2 began. And phase 2 was the first thing that we did is we created what we call the Participatory Action Research Group, the PARG. And so this group is a group of community members. We'll talk about it a little bit later, but that group was created. Literature review was conducted, interviews were conducted, focus groups, peer library surveys were sent out to our peers in the country. So there was a lot of engagement looking at the data with the peer groups and affected groups that we were working with here at Central. And so the outcome of that was findings were documented about the approaches to safety. How are people thinking about safety? How do they approach safety? That was a topic of a lot of discussion for us. We had a lot of discussion about that. And so ultimately this report was the end product for the library administration to review, consider, and then work through a process moving forward. So just looking at phase 1 data collected, this is an overview of the data that was collected. It includes library incident reports that we keep in-house, also looking at SAPD reports, public comments from the board meetings. As I mentioned, a review of literature. There were 2 World Cafe community meetings, and I believe that few trustees joined in on that. We had some meetings in person and virtual with staff, as well as office hours for individual staff who felt more comfortable in a one-on-one setting. The researchers did customer interviews, staff interviews. With Maria Vargas' help, we were able to get some interviews with law enforcement officers who participated in the pilot program, which was very insightful. There were focus groups and then surveys. So there was a lot of data that was gathered. As we move to phase 2 and the PARG, this began in phase 2. There was 11 members, and PARG, for your information, is very detailed on page 11 of the report or 109 of the report. You'll recognize a couple names. For example, John Costello, former president of the Friends Library, was a member of the PARG. So the PARG consisted of members they were library users, library stakeholders, community groups that have a presence in and around Central Library area. So it was an array of different groups of people coming together. So they worked together with the project team, and it was a very good experience to have this group give us feedback and give us their perspectives as we work through the data. And we're looking at the data and drawing, had some thoughts, some questions, and talking through the PARG. So it was a really good activation of a large group of people together. And so looking at why do we need a PARG? Why did we need such a kind of community gathering? And so as we, draw back to the premise that this project is grounded in participatory action and social justice, the PARG made sense for us. It was collective problem solving. It's library staff, it's members of the community, and it's the researchers all looking at this research question. It's community driven. It's reminding everybody that the library doesn't stand alone. We're part of a community. So as we're part of a community, what happens in the community impacts library and vice versa. So it created that shared understanding. Diverse perspectives were discussed, shared, and it widened some perspectives of some members of PARG. The roles and goals were contextualized, which provided some clarity. There was a lot of aha moments during those meetings. Of course, it's a study about the library for the library, so our mission statement was key to being part of the PARG engagement. This also helped us with trust and buy-in as we engage members of stakeholder groups and other community groups who maybe didn't have an awareness of what the library staff go through on a day-in, day-out basis, and how complexities of public library services have changed over the years and what's happening now. So there was that shared support for staff, because staff then felt supported of an understanding of their service and their reality. And then, lastly, it helped us with relationship building. When we're working so closely with these organizations, it helps us create connections that not only help us here at Central, maybe we can bridge connections throughout the system, and these are lasting partnerships that will help us in the future. So we're going to continue to cultivate those partnerships and those relationships as we move forward. And so as we wrap up, the key findings of the study is essentially that we know that a lot of everybody that we spoke with, they valued and recognized the role of the library as a place for everyone and that encourages growth and connection. So that was a shared understanding that we understand the role of library. Because this study and the pilot was a real world problem with all the complexities and all of the challenges that brings, it's important to note that the suggested findings should not be interpreted as causal, meaning we cannot say that one thing impacted the other. What we can say is that we have some observations, which we've shared here, and it's also in the report, and some of those are compared to the same period prior to the pilot. Violent incidents declined, reported incidents overall increased. A near majority of staff reported feeling safer during the pilot program, and the police response times trended down during the pilot time. So those are things that actually happened, but we are, again, not drawing a causal relationship. We did find, though, a key finding from the study is a shared definition of safety, and this was a major topic for the group. They're different. When we started the conversation, the thought of safety had different definitions based on who you're talking to and what their experiences are. And so part of that was coming to a shared understanding of safety. And so we have it here listed as reducing incidents of violence and harm, decreasing hypervigilance, fostering belonging and dignity, and supporting staff well-being and retention. So those were the four shared understanding of what safety means. And so on page 173 of your iPad or page 75 of the report, you'll see information about the recommendations for consideration. Essentially, we will be taking these recommendations and working it through, incorporating it into our strategic plan, which is implementation is underway now. They include strengthening in-house security, looking at staff skill-based training. We offer some right now. We can always offer more. Using environmental design to improve spaces. We're doing that actively now. As we're renovating spaces, we're looking at things in that light. You'll notice, or you may recall, when the board adopted the revised patron code of conduct, that was seen through a trauma-informed lens. That's exactly part of this, because it's looking at things within that mindset, that framework, and so we will definitely continue along that trajectory. We, of course, will maintain a tiered response model for engagement with SAPD as needed. So as incidents or issues arise, we'll escalate as we need to. And if we need to call SAPD to assist, we will continue to do that. This study helped us also solidify some partnerships with SA Core, which is a community outreach resiliency effort that the city has. Our safe officer engagement is always constant, and also SAPD. And then, of course, we are in constant alignment with our mission. The mission statement is what drives us. It's our why to what we do day in, day out. So we will continue to ensure that we align all tactics to our mission, which is also aligned with our strategic plan. So, and that just leads us to our last slide and our next steps. This study directly lines up with three goals of our strategic plan. The first one is growing staff capacity and skills, which speaks directly to the training and the skill-based de-escalation. Goal number 2 talks about aspirational library spaces, which again speaks to ensuring that our spaces do what we can to set members of our community up for success. let's not put, 20 computers right next to each other in a crammed space. Let's space those out, give some folks, some breathing room, things like that. For goal number 8, cultivate partnerships, that's ongoing, and that started with the park, and we're continuing those partnerships. So it's something that we are going to continue to work through as part of the strategic plan and beyond. So that is today's presentation. I'm available if you have any questions.
We have at the next step, cultivate a portfolio of partnerships. So did you learn that you had some already and you have to get more? And
Always.
what's the difference?
Sure. Good question. So we are always looking for partnerships that are mutually beneficial. So we are very cognizant to ensure that any partnerships we engage in provide the library a value as well as the other entity. So absolutely, we recognize that there are partnerships that maybe we could leverage if it was taking place here at Central, maybe system-wide or at other locations, and then also exploring opportunities for additional partnerships. Yep.
Use this, but it's overused a lot, like it takes a village. I think the whole community needs to get involved, because if there's someone in danger in the library, then it needs to get out there. And it doesn't necessarily have to be police. You can have these programs ready and, to kind of come and help out. So that's why I think the police presence wasn't very well liked, I guess, by the comments that we had before. So this is great. Thank you.
I know that elections are a growing concern. Are you also engaging Bear County Sheriff's Department in this?
As libraries are vote centers, we do work very closely with Bear County elections for every election to ensure that we're following proper protocol. Because as libraries, as vote centers, we are the venue, and so we do work very closely with Bear County elections to ensure that if there's something that needs to be escalated, if there's an immediate danger, we will not hesitate to call 911. But we also do work with Bear County Elections, who also has Bear County Sheriffs. And I'll see if Dale or Haley has anything to add.
Afternoon again. That's a great question. So normally, Bear County Elections does want constables to respond if there's any election-related, we've had maybe a few things come up, but we'll call 911 and Bear County Elections at the same time, on 2 phones, and then make sure that the incident is responded to accordingly. This is important, I'm sure all of you know, because the way law enforcement responds during polling is a matter of a constitutional right, and so that's why it's a little different, than just a normal incident.
Okay, thank you for the update. Thank you, Jessica. Thank you, Sakrit. Next, we will be entering into executive session to receive a personnel update. The Board of Trustees of the San Antonio Public Library will begin its executive session pursuant to Government Code Section 551.074, personnel matters on this 22nd day of April 2026 at 5:58 p.m. The Board of Trustees of the San Antonio Public Library has completed its executive session on the 22nd day of April, 2026 at 6:20 p.m. The Board of Trustees of the San Antonio Public Library will now resume its open session. No action was taken. And that was our last agenda item, so I will entertain a motion for dismissal.
Adjourn?
Okay, thank you, and have a good evening. Thank you all for your help.